Analytic Dreamz video on Spotify to see the video along with the audio, because right now we're playing the trailer for Bad Bunny's announcement for the 2026 Super Bowl halftime show. Now, with that being said, that's essentially the trailer for Bad Bunny announcing that he will be a part of the Super Bowl halftime show. And the first thing I was thinking to myself,
but then, you know what I'm saying, I was like,
because at the end of the day, when you think about the different type of bunnies that the NFL was trying to accomplish, how ironic that they ended up with Bad Bunny.
You guys, see, that's the problem.
Now, if you don't know what I'm talking about, obviously when it comes to the Super Bowl, neither of them will comment on this, but as far as reports, Taylor Swift ended up turning down the Super Bowl and Adele. And when it gets interesting is when you specifically focus on Taylor Swift, as reports came out that she was demanding certain things that the NFL refused, such as payment, ownership of performance, and promotional rights. Because if you don't know, people perform on the Super Bowl stage for free. If you didn't know, well, now you know. But Taylor Swift wasn't having any of that, as obviously over here at Notorious Mass Effect, of course, for myself calling myself Analytic Dreamz, we have to get into analytics, as it was ironically very dreamlike, as Taylor Swift boosted the NFL to approximately $331 million, to the point where merch sales, viewership, media exposure, all of that was uplifted by the one and only Taylor Swift, which is why I consistently say that she is the biggest gangster in the industry, because as far as exposure and engagement, she's unequivocally the biggest artist in the music industry. Now, that out the way. As far as NFL and Taylor Swift viewership, 123.7 million total viewers, and it surged up 8% from 2023. And among that, it was women/girls that helped out that metric majority, as 58.8 million women tuned in, which is a 9% increase and the highest ever for women. So when you look at Taylor Swift's impact on the NFL specifically, and you look at them announcing that she may have turned down the Super Bowl yet again, because they've been asked her, right? If you have the biggest musician in the world and she hasn't been on the Super Bowl stage, safe to say that she's, the higher ups at the NFL have already thought about inviting Taylor Swift. She just declined it. And diving into it further, when it comes to Taylor Swift's leverage and the numbers I already went over, she was wanting compensation because of her already objectively seeing the metrics as far as how people was turning out to come to Kansas City games, well, the Chiefs games, and of course the NFL viewership in general, as far as people watching from home. And when you look at the beauty and health brands that targeted the NFL because of her bringing her demo to their viewership pool, you come to realize that not only did Taylor Swift help out the NFL viewership, but she helped out specifically with an audience that the NFL lacked, right? So anyways, with the Taylor Swift glaze out of the way, the main thing I was wanting to get into is, of course, the details surrounding Bad Bunny performing at the Super Bowl halftime show. Because when it comes to the 2026 Super Bowl halftime show, we all know that Jay-Z is ultimately over the entertainment portion of the NFL. And usually I have the actual title that he has, NFL. So what are they going to say, like tight end? Hold up now, pause.
You guys, see, that's the problem.
My fault, that was a Diddy joke. Anyways, when it comes to Jay-Z, he is involved with NFL as the head of Roc Nation's partnership, which includes producing the Super Bowl halftime show. And under this partnership, Roc Nation serves as the NFL's live music entertainment strategist. So if you wonder why Kendrick Lamar was able to perform the pedophile anthem on one of the biggest stages in sports, well, now you know. It's safe to say that just maybe, my sources are I made it up, right? But just maybe, Drake and Jay-Z might be at odds at this very moment.
You guys, see, that's the problem.
And when it comes to that, you've had The Weeknd perform on the stage. You've had Kendrick perform not once, but twice. Because don't forget, he popped up on the Dr. Dre Super Bowl performance. And then you come to realize that not only did Kendrick end up performing the pedophile anthem on the biggest stage in sports. But then when you look at Jay-Z in general, as far as him going out of the way to have certain acts on the Super Bowl stage, it's very commendable in my opinion. But of course, once you have a performance like that, now the NFL steps in. They're like, hold up now. Hold on now. We got to get another artist that's going to be more palatable to the masses. So, of course, they went to the artist who they preferred, which was Taylor Swift, which was Adele. And guess what? Both of them declined. So, right back to my earlier sentiments, even though they went after certain bunnies that is considered the baddest, they ended up with Bad Bunny himself.
But then, you know what I'm saying? I was like, damn, look at the state of hip hop. Like, what's going on?
So when it comes to Bad Bunny's political and cultural impact, obviously this is not a political podcast, but whenever it comes across as far as me covering music, I do have to speak on it because I do feel like it's very important. As one of the main reasons that Bad Bunny did not tour in the US and literally canceled his Debbie Terrar Mas Photos tour in the US specifically is because he feared of ICE raids at his concert. Want to let sprinkle a little silence in them. So when you come to the NFL, actually letting Jay-Z have Bad Bunny perform at the Super Bowl is very interesting because an insider source came from Jay-Z's camp allegedly and said that Jay-Z demanded that the NFL chose Bad Bunny after being turned down by Taylor Swift and Adele, and essentially he wanted to be and showcase the proud, powerful, and the proud and powerful side of the Latinos in America, especially with Donald Trump expected to attend. Now, it's not a political podcast, of course. I'm just laying out the facts so you know exactly what all the surrounding detail is about this Bad Bunny pick. So when it comes to why Bad Bunny canceled his U.S. tour, his U.S. leg of the tour, and due to fears of ICE raids at concerts. And then when it comes to Jay-Z's camp, because somebody's leaking this information. Obviously, Jay-Z's not going to come out himself, but he's going to have people speak for him. So when the insider sources from Jay-Z's camp comes out and says, and this is an insider quote, which I don't even know how that's possible if it's anonymous. But anyways, quote, this is Jay-Z's ultimate flex. Come February, they're talking about Bad Bunny, but they say he'll play for the world with Trump just yards away.
I know that ain't who I think it is.
So, but that being said, this will be the 7th halftime show overseen by Jay-Z since Roc Nation partnered with the NFL. And going back to Jay-Z being over the live entertainment, now that you know, as far as Jay-Z being the main proponent, as far as who picks these performers, it makes sense why we've had a Rihanna, why we've had a Kendrick, why we've had The Weeknd. We would have had Kanye if he didn't go crazy.
You guys.
But when it comes to that, also had Usher, Dr. Dre, Shakira, and J-Lo. You probably thinking to yourself, man, there's a lot of R&B and hip-hop acts. Well, now you know why.
Sounds like, damn, look at the state of hip hop. Like, what's going on?
So specifically getting back into hip-hop, let's talk about side 7. My fault. White Tank Top. Goodness, I keep forgetting his name. Kendrick. Let's get back into Kendrick. As when it comes to Mr. Duckworth, he had his whole Super Bowl set leaked by the one and only Academics. I don't know how many McDoubles and bottles of Hennessy this man was off of, but he was boasting with the most egregious smile because of him being able to successfully leak Kendrick Lamar's Super Bowl halftime set. Because of course, that was in the midst of his victory lap as far as going at Drake. Now, that being said, let's play, I'm just going to play this for a little bit so y'all can see this man talk off of 50 McDoubles and 20 Hennessy bottles.
Y'all niggas suck dick.
Oh.
I told y'all what's gonna happen.
Oh, no. Oh, my goodness. Yo, sometimes, I think about letting people know that I name myself after Academics as far as my name being Analytics. But I think people who are connoisseurs of Academics and, of course, my content, safe to say that if you don't see a difference, if you don't hear a difference, then there may be something wrong with you. But anyways, let's get back into he is still one of my main inspirations as far as covering music. But as you can see, we have very different ways of covering stuff nowadays.
Nigga like, yo, nothing bigger than the chat, nigga. Let me tell you how I got that nigga Kendrick's fucking Super Bowl.
I don't think he could get any closer to the camera, by the way. Now, there's Analytic Dreamz video on Spotify to see the video along with the audio. But do it at your own risk. So let's get back into it.
A nigga who worked at the fucking arena is a chat nigga.
Oh.
Fuck who, niggas labels tight to me.
What? Why you say it like that? He said it like Carl Anthony Towns. And after all that, I was like, hold on, what in the world? After all that, how you gonna go on the whole rant and it switched to Karl Anthony Towns. I don't understand. Anyways, let's get back into his rant.
We gonna work it out. Can't beat the chat. Stop it.
All right, so anyways, that's basically it. He's basically boasting about leaking Kendrick Lamar's whole Super Bowl set. And if you don't believe him, or if you want to see proof, safe to say that every single time you look up Kendrick Lamar's Super Bowl set leak from before he performed, it doesn't show up. It shows this right here. But you will be glad to know that, of course, I did my journalistic due diligence and found it myself, because I was like, I know it has to exist on the internet somewhere, and I finally found it. So this is exactly what the leaks look like in the beginning. Let me see if I can find this. So essentially, this is what it looked like as far as when it was leaked allegedly from academics, because I don't know if he's still going to be sued by NFL. You know, I ain't trying to help them out. But it does seem like, see why this not okay. As I try to be a W Tech guy, let me try this. So I have the actual picture of the Super Bowl. So Analytic Dreamz video on Spotify to see the video along with the audio, because we're about to show the leaked set list, and we're gonna show the leaked actual stage. See if I can find it. Okay. Here we go. Okay. All right. So this came out right before his performance. This entire thing was leaked. So you have the leaked set list. Let me take myself away so you can see the. So as far as Kendrick, as you can see, this whole list was pretty much on the nose, as the GNX trailer song going to Squabble Up essentially was the way he started off, because he had the GNX teaser, and then of course he had Squabble Up, then he had Humble, then he had DNA, Euphoria, Man at the Garden, Peekaboo, Luther, All of the Stars Not Like Us. Literally this was a 1-to-1. So academics did successfully leak his set list. Very petty, I don't co-sign it, but whenever he talks about certain things in the music industry, he's usually on the nose. You know, whenever he finishes talking about black men getting locked up and police body cam footage for like 16 hours, that 1 hour of music coverage, music industry coverage by Livingston is some of the greatest coverage. I'm not gonna lie to you, man. It might as well be Stephen A. covering sports. So he broke this down like a kilo of Miley Cyrus and basically showcased how this was his set list. And can I draw on this? I don't think I could draw. Y'all see it? It's to the left. It's to the left of Kendrick. So and you could tell it's his leak set list because nobody's in the stadium. They're basically prepping. This is how the prep looks before the actual show. So yeah, it's actually kind of crazy. Academics did say he was going to get sued. I don't know if that actually came into fruition. I wouldn't be upset with him. Well, I don't know. I mean, I'll never advocate for anybody to get sued, but that is crazy to leak somebody's whole Super Bowl performance. You only get that once as far as a solo act, because he was on there twice, but the first time was under Dr. Dre. So that's the main thing I wanted to go over. It's always a huge impact when an artist performs at the Super Bowl, which is why NFL doesn't like to pay people to perform, and which is why some of the top musicians that are still making the biggest bucks in the industry sometimes turn it down. But as far as the 7-year run, I will say Jay-Z's had a great run of picking artists. Now, of course, it's been reported that they asked Drake to perform at the Super Bowl halftime show and he declined, but that was way before the Kendrick and Drake stuff, and before, you know, Drake and Jay-Z became mortal enemies, because, you know, Drake hates everybody who co-signed that pedophile anthem. So with that being said, getting back into the 2026 Super Bowl halftime show, it will be happening February 8th, 2028 at Levi Stadium in Santa Clara, California. And when it comes to Bad Bunny, his Puerto Rico residency just ended after 31 days. Goodness. It ended September of this year, and his upcoming tour is in the Dominican Republic. Once again, he canceled his U.S. leg of the tour because of the ICE raids. It's not a political podcast. I'm just letting you know the state of the economy, the state of the world, really. His upcoming tour is 24 dates. It starts November 21st, and it's in the Dominican Republic. And when it comes to that, I think that this will be a fantastic Super Bowl performance. Bad Bunny is one of the biggest musicians in the world. His album, Debbie Terrar Mas Fotos, which that album is the 11th most played album in the world, and I believe that album came out January 2025. Well, no, January 5th, 2025, and it is almost October 2025, and it's still the 11th most played album in the world. So safe to say, Bad Bunny is one of the biggest musicians in the music industry. So I think it's going to be a great performance. I don't really have any particular tracks I would want to hear from Bad Bunny. I'm a huge Drake fan. I do feel like their collab as far as Mia with Straight Heat had Drake singing in Spanish and stuff like that. But, you know, I don't want to, you know, y'all going to be saying I'm glazing Drake again.
You guys.
So anyways, when it comes to that, I think this is going to be a great show. I've never seen fully a Bad Bunny show. I'm excited to see what he does on his short time on the Super Bowl stage, because of course you don't know. I mean, you already know the Super Bowl halftime show is not that long. So with that being said, click my link tree in my bio. Let me know on one of my social medias. What do you think about Bad Bunny performing and being announced to perform at the 2026 Super Bowl halftime show? And ultimately, when it comes to the political surroundings of Bad Bunny performing in front of Trump, what do you think the dialogue will be around Jay-Z picking the first headliner ever as far as solely performing in Spanish?